Destroyah, probably the most popular villain in the Heisei series. While many fans will still tell you that Mechagodzilla or King Ghidorah is probably their favorite overall villain, Destroyah is unanimously everyone's favorite villain of the Heisei era. And once again, another very unique original creation by Toho that was subjected to just one film. While some of his colleagues like Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla had multiple movies in pretty much every era. So why would a monster that seems to be so popular and so highly regarded amongst the Godzilla community be subjected to one movie? Well, I gotta tell you, I'm not so sure that that's just going to be the case. I feel pretty confident that at some point, either in the Monsterverse or even in Toho's new series of movies they are planning for the 2020s, I have a feeling Destroyah is going to prop up again. In the case of the Monsterverse, you got to consider that Destroyah is a crustacean, and he is just as grounded a monster, probably more so than Mothra and King Ghidorah. So I think there's a distinct possibility that he might be considered if the Monsterverse keeps going forward. In fact, he could be the very monster to kind of be the bookend to the Monsterverse altogether, the one final showdown to have with Godzilla. I have to admit, I'm not the biggest Destroyah fan as compared to some of my colleagues and other fans. And I have kind of tempered the whole discussion about how powerful he is, and I still hold to that argument. There's a power level he has that is obviously great, but there were definitely moments in the movie where he seemed a lot weaker than, well, maybe he was portrayed in a prior scene. It was a very inconsistent representation of Destroyah, in my opinion, because there were scenes where he seemed extraordinarily powerful, and then there were scenes where he just, well, got his ass kicked by Godzilla Jr. Kind of didn't make sense, which is why I can't take him as seriously as some others in terms of his power level. However, the concept for Destroyah was by screenwriter Kazuki Omori. Initially proposed having the current Heisei Godzilla fight Ghost Godzilla, the specter of the original 1954 Godzilla, though this idea was scrapped, as Godzilla already had fought several doppelgangers, Biollante, Mechagodzilla, and Space Godzilla, while obviously Biollante to a lesser degree in terms of design, but in terms of her overall biology being very similar to Godzilla. It was, however, decided to maintain references to the original film by bringing back the Oxygen Destroyer, the weapon that killed the first Godzilla. The character was initially going to be named Barubaro, though this was rejected on account of it sounding too familiar with Berber, as thus could have been considered offensive. The Barubaro design were much more squid-like than the finalized Destroyah look, though they shared Destroyah's trait of surpassing Godzilla in height. All of Destroyah's forms were designed by Minoru Yoshida, who's been instructed to make the creature a crustacean. His design for Destroyah's final form was given to illustrator Noriyoshi Ohari, who incorporated it into a new movie poster. Ohari's depiction was later used as the basis for the 3D model used in constructing the creature's suit. And again, another monster with unfortunately a very short history, as we only ever got to see him in one movie. But I really do feel strongly that we will see Destroyah again at some point. Godzilla vs. Destroyah was probably the best Heisei movie out of all the ones that came out. It had a very, very sad and emotional ending for Godzilla. It displayed what is to believed to be one of Godzilla's strongest villains ever. And the movie had a very dark thematic tone and was fairly violent in some areas as well. Destroyah is beloved by fans to this day, and I know for a fact that if the Monsterverse decided to include him into one of the movies down the line, I have a feeling you would see many fans, even the Toho purists, tow and walk across the line just to see what Legendary would be capable of with an Americanized, enhanced Destroyer look. And more so, probably make Destroyer his toughest adversary at least equal to what we're assuming we're going to see with King Ghidorah in Godzilla King of the Monsters. And while I've trolled many fans and I've kind of had fun and bantered back and forth with many of you on just how strong Destroyah is not in my eyes, I won't deny that he's got a fantastic look, he's very, very large, and you can't deny his popularity. And I have to admit, I think there is definitely a fair argument for how powerful he is. I just think the movie hurt him by representing him inconsistently in other areas that to me made him seem weak. So perhaps maybe he deserves one more chance to prove me wrong and be in another movie coming up where he really gives Godzilla a hard time. Heck, maybe even beat Godzilla and make it a two-part movie where Godzilla has to make an epic comeback. I hope we get to see something like that, and I do hope we get to see Destroyah down the line in the near future, whether it's the MonsterVerse or the new series of Toho movies. But until then, we'll just have to wait and appreciate his solo outing that he had during the Heisei era, and I think a lot of you guys don't mind doing that. I hope you liked this video, and please return tomorrow as we continue the 30 for 30 series. Until then, this is Rob signing off for E.T.N, where we don't do news, we just talk entertainment. Take it easy.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Don't forget to subscribe and join the Nation Facebook page.